Broad look at the systems that we've been monitoring over the last few days really coming to fruition now. Earlier this morning, you could see we did have that northern system lingering over portions of Idaho and northern Utah, and then that isolated system to our south moving in from Arizona. Those systems will combine to create this snow event that will bring us heavier snow in the late afternoon, early evening hours. You can see by 4 o'clock, look at our futurecast, quite a bit of snowfall over the Continental Divide, the western slope, and moving toward the Pikes Peak region. It's going to be later tonight when we really start to see that heavier snow hit us here along I-25 and the eastern plains. So by 11, 12 o'clock, that's when we could start to see some accumulations as temperatures start to dip down. Really quite warm temperatures for our highs today this afternoon. As they dip down to the 30s, though, that's when we'll start to see that snow sticking to the ground. And you can see through those overnight hours, that snow continuing, especially across the eastern plains as we move further into our Sunday. So as we move into our Sunday afternoon, that's when things start to calm down a little bit. We're just looking at isolated snow showers really all across Colorado, and then lingering out on the eastern plains as we get into those later evening hours. We still will have some possible snow showers across the far eastern plains. That southeastern corner, like Springfield, could see some snow into our Sunday evening, Christmas Eve evening. So keep that in mind if you have any travel plans. Now, here's really the headlines that we've been looking at. What are we going to see? Bursts of snow, that heavier snow coming in tonight into tomorrow morning. Accumulation starting tonight into tomorrow morning along and east of I-25, bringing slick travel for your Christmas Eve. So keep that in mind. As I mentioned, you'll definitely want to bundle up as we head into those evening hours tonight. For our afternoon highs, though, really quite comfortable. 51 in Colorado Springs, 56 in Pueblo, and then 60s even in some areas out on the eastern plains. We are seeing some cooler temperatures in the mountains, and that's where we already have some slick roads. That will change here in our lower lying areas overnight, where we get temperatures down to the 20s in a lot of areas. 25 in Colorado Springs, 29 in Pueblo, and then low 30s out on the eastern plains as that snow starts to accumulate. Heading into our Sunday, those chilly temperatures are going to stick around as Arctic air starts to settle in across the state, bringing us temperatures in the 30s for the most part. 31 in Colorado Springs, 35 in Pueblo, and anywhere up to the high 30s out on the eastern plains for our Christmas Eve. Now, it really all depends when it comes to accumulation when that rain and mixing switches over to snow in those evening hours. We are going to see temperatures, as I mentioned, dipping down to the 30s around midnight, and that's when we'll start to see some more sticking lightly. So as we see our accumulation totals, you can see the chance for a trace to an inch in places like Pueblo, where we likely aren't going to see as much snow, that heavier snow lingering between northern Colorado Springs up toward Denver, where we could see anywhere upwards of half a foot. Similar situation in Teller County and the San Luis Valley. Here's a closer look at Teller County, and places like Palmer Lake could see some neighborhoods with even more than half a foot. That's what we're looking at right now when it comes to those accumulations. But we dry out for Christmas Day, and you can see really just some cloud cover sticking around here in Colorado. Drier conditions, all of that action moving further east toward South Dakota, Nebraska, and the Midwest. Now, here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast in that big dive in temperatures from today into our Sunday. A 20-degree drop. Precipitation chances ramping up overnight in Colorado Springs. A similar situation in Pueblo, too, with that 20-degree drop from tonight into tomorrow. Clouds lingering as this cold front stays in the state. And then we move into Monday, and things are still cold, but we dry out and we start to warm up for the rest of our work week, back up to the 40s in places like Monument by the end of the week. Canyon City, Woodland Park following that similar trend. A weather alert in place for today and tomorrow as that active weather starts to ramp up. Heavy snowfall tonight into tomorrow, and then we dry out for Christmas Day.